Alright, so we're up here. That was a long walk without me
We
being
were
able...
here yesterday when we heard the shot, and it was also here where Legrand caught our stowaway.
Well, there's a door there that we can examine. There's an electric box. We can examine the pipes.
This isn't a panoramic deck for visitors. There are pipes, steel cables, chains up here. You can smell the smoke from the funnel. I have no idea how the ship works, and I really don't care, as long as it stays afloat.
Man,
Wow.
This is really weird. Looking at that water over there made me like look at this metal and think about like how hot the metal would be to touch, and it just really makes me want to go on holiday. It's really weird. Do you want to...
Wait, go inside? We can't go inside. Oh,
We can examine this grate, and then we can examine that as well.
The grate must be part of the ship's ventilation system. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Except that that fan's on and that fan's off, so it's clearly broken, and that's how they got the Baroness's room!
The grate
And that's when we're gonna hit the
shouldn't be so
iceberg.
easy to open. Did the stowaway open it and we caught him in the act? No. The pipe is too narrow. He wouldn't fit in there. I guess the cover has been defective for a while.
But someone else could have fit in there.
I could inform the captain that the grid has to be repaired. But if I start reporting all the problems on the ship, I'd have to shelve my murder investigation.
Why is he being such a dick about this shit, man? The lifeboat, and then we'll go in the door? Unless you got any other ideas?
Yeah, that's it. Let's do it.
A boat like this would also make a good hideout for a stowaway.
Is that it?
Were the tarpaulins arranged like that on purpose so that no one could put them back in order once they get in? You can tell at a glance that everything is ship-shape with this boat.
We say next to the defective grate. And after being... Oh, was that more sarcasm? Was that more sarcasm?
Yeah, that might have been sarcasm.
We've got an axe we can pick up. And my axe! Which maybe we...
Why is there an axe hanging here? I suppose it's for chopping through ropes in the event that the lifeboats can't be lowered. Or they use it to enforce who's allowed on the boat and who's not.
God.
What, they gonna chop off someone's head?
There was like some child...
You don't belong here, stowaway.
Wow, yeah, this just becomes like a horror. There was some child that just screamed outside my window. Legitimately sounded like she was being attacked. Should I do something? Should I
you
do
live in that type of neighborhood?
I do. I don't live in a very nice neighborhood at all.
Really? The grass is not green?
There is no grass. There is no grass. It's all just
concrete.
concrete for a long way around. Well, we got a garden. There's a school. There's a school nearby. Okay, no, we have to keep playing. This is more important. This is more important than the well-being of that child's safety. I'm sure it's just a kid screaming for no reason.
Sure, you don't need to call the police, real quick.
Dude,
I'm
not
what, what do you guys call it there? Popo? No, you guys don't call it the popo. We call it the
what?
popo.
The popo?
The popo. Yeah, man.
That sounds like something from Sesame Street.
I am the popo. No, that's what black people call them,
Oh, is it?
The gangsters.
Are you lying or is
the
is
straight
it
up gangster? No. So I'm being legit.
I don't know anything about black culture apparently. The popo.
No, not black culture. It's gangster culture. What you guys think we are? That we wear all of us wear our pants low, and we talk like this.
Very casual racism.
Yeah, very casual.
We couldn't even pick up the axe then. That sucks.
The ship's bridge. 2 men. One of them.
We just spent so long talking about.
I get the impression that the officers keep things running. It seems like the captain concentrates on the passengers and the bar.
Yep.
It's been 15 minutes, and we haven't done a single thing.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is what this game is like. We should tell everyone as well, okay? I was looking through the achievements, guys.
No.
You don't want to
We got everything. We got every single thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's it. We got everything. We can go to the forecastle. Forecastle.
We probably should go see the stowaway, right? Interrogate him with the axe.
We should see. Yeah, we should see.
Ask him questions.
Yeah. Oh man, you shouldn't joke. There's so much we can do. What the hell?
You can play hopscotch.
Do you want to play hopscotch?
Let's play
Oh no, this is
hopscotch.
shuffleboard equipment. I asked the other day what that was. That's not hopscotch, is it?
It's hopscotch, man.
You jump from the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4 to the 5 to the 6 to the 7 to the 8 to the 9 to the 10. Well,
And
why is
then-
it minus 10 and plus 10?
You lose points if you jump on that block.
Okay, amazing. I'm going to speak to the constable, who's clearly asleep, and this will bring me great joy to wake him up. Why is the only British guy an absolute dick in this game?
It may
Oh,
not
I thought he was
seem
gonna
like
slap
it,
him for
but
a second.
Constable Oliver is actually
We did
a
slap
very
someone already, didn't we?
effective Watchman.
He like takes off his glove. Do you guys challenge each other to a duel over in the UK?
I challenge. No, we don't. That's an American thing.
American thing.
It is. You think it's a British thing, but it's an American thing. For example, the first time I ever heard of that as being a thing was when Homer Simpson was doing it in season 8 of The Simpsons, episode 21. Yeah, there's this big secret about me. I harbour much Simpsons trivia knowledge. Look, we need to make progress. I'm speaking to the constable. Wake up.
What's going on?
The Raven just flew by. Or at least he might as well have.
I wasn't asleep.
I understand. It was just a ruse.
Wow. Wow, we're douches. Man.
We are. It's exactly what you said the other day about how we're just sort of an old man that just don't. We don't take no crap from nobody. Stowaway.
Any conclusions about a young stowaway?
Yeah, he's a bit suspicious. Foreign and whatnot.
I see. Did he act suspiciously in any way?
No. The shot surprised him as much as it did me. Looked in on him earlier. Still seems to be asleep.
Covered with a blanket from head to toe?
Aha. He's still in there. I poked him.
Foreign and whatnot. How very British white supremacist. Question on the stowaway? Do we want to do this? Do we want to interrogate him?
Foreign and whatnot. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do it.
May I go downstairs and have a couple of words
Let me
with
in.
our guest?
No.
Ah!
not.
Come again?
Inspector Legrand wants to conduct all the interrogations himself.
I'm sure he'll understand if I form my own conclusions.
He ordered me to guard the door, and that's just what I'm gonna do.
How about a bit of individual initiative?
How about letting a man do his job? Or do you think you'd be better at it?
This is great. I love this dialogue. That's so cool. Alright, we really don't like each other. What's your theory then?
What do you think? What happened here last night?
The Raven broke into the Baroness's cabin, she surprised him, and he shot her.
What was he looking for in her cabin?
She was a rich woman.
Ooh!
He didn't want to steal her purse. He wanted the third key.
So Legrand also told you about that.
Why did he lock the door?
Why not?
From inside? An impressive trick.
I'm not saying I know how he did it. I'm just saying that it was him.
Why didn't he leave a raven feather?
Are you serious? We'd have suspected him straight away.
But fortunately, we still did.
Man, look, Zelna just jumps ahead and considers stuff that I never even thought of. Yeah, he would have left the feather.
Let's assume that the old raven really has returned and that he really is responsible for all this. Who is he? Or she?
Oh, could be anyone. No one's ever seen the Raven.
He could also be paying someone else to do his dirty work.
Well, of course. It's a fact that he used to work with partners. They even arrested some of his accomplices.
But no one could ever identify the raven himself. Some claims that they didn't even know that they were working for him. Fascinating. He could have hired someone with financial difficulties to set off the alarm at a certain time without that person knowing why they were doing it.
The man Legrand shot back then, he was a famous safecracker. He could just as well have been a henchman.
Or the real raven. There's probably no better cover for a big thief than acting like a small one. I don't want to keep you from your duties any longer.
Good idea.
Yeah, your duties of promptly
Wow.
falling back to sleep.
He looks depressed right there. He's just like, oh.
Do you think we can break in?
The stowaway
We could
surely
examine.
didn't sleep well last night in the cargo hold. Although his cell is probably more comfortable than my cabin. And more spacious.
Oh, don't be such a pessimist. Alright, okay, well, we'll ignore that then. We can't axe it down. Do you wanna let's examine the equipment thing?
Yeah.
Hopscotch.
Old man can still do it.
I wonder if this game is an advanced version of bocce.
Bocce. Another word I would not have been able to pronounce.
So it is a game.
Yeah, but I have no idea how it's played. I imagine it's got something to do with a ball or something. I don't know. If someone's going to stand here. Have you ever heard of Good Night, Mr. Wolf?
No.
Good night, good morning, dinner time, Mr. Wolf. I think that's it. It's where like one kid stands on one end of the playground and they like have their back to all the other kids, and then the kids have to sneak across the playground before the kid in front turns around, and if he sees you moving, then he catches you out. And if you get to the end, you say, "Dinner time, Mr. Wolf." It's great. It's a game we used to play.
Wow.
Salty
You have
sea
some
air
different
in my
games.
old lungs, wind in my thinning hair. If I hadn't become a policeman, I could have been a sailor.
See, our games aren't violent. All I hear from the States is dodgeball, throwing stuff at each other. Woo!
Violence, killing, guns. All that good stuff.
Yeah, I already went off on my little right to bear arms thing. I'm not doing that. There's nothing else here. I feel like this was a waste of time. Sort of.
So we should talk to the
Butler?
guy who was supposed to be there. Yeah, the butler.
The butler. I guess he's pretty shaken up because he used to work with the Baroness. So this should be a pretty interesting conversation.
I wonder where he's gonna go.
The
He's gonna lie to
Happens when a
us.
butler
looks like he didn't get much sleep. I would describe his facial expression as worried.
Worried.
I would describe it as something a bit worse than that. Look at him.
He has to pee.
He looks shifty. Having to pee makes people look suspicious.
Hello, Mr. Inch.
Oh, Constable.
I didn't even know his name
You
before
look
that.
the worse for wear. It must be terrible for you.
Quite terrible. No one will hire me now.
Excuse me?
My mistress was murdered. Would you hire a butler who's been mixed up in a murder?
But if it turns out that you're not guilty...
If. But what if not? Who else would they blame? There are no gardeners on this ship.
I understand your problem. Under these circumstances, I'm sure you'd answer some questions that could help clear your name, wouldn't you?
Of course.
Alright, well, I'm gonna press you hard, bitch. So let's see what you got. Alright, last night.
Did you notice anything suspicious last night?
No, sir. After the Baroness went to the saloon, I went to the forecastle. I was there until the alarm went off. I went to the side deck and arrived shortly after Professor Lucien and Miss Miller. We found you and Inspector Legrand there. You were unconscious, and the inspector asked us to take care of you.
See, the inspector should be here to verify all that.
You sound like you're about to bend him over the,
Wow.
the table.
Okay, verbally, yes, this is the verbal equivalent. I shouldn't be so mean to this guy, innocent until proven guilty, but hey. Or, in some countries, apparently, is guilty until proven innocent, which is a very interesting philosophy to run your company, your government's, judiciary system by. Gunshot.
Did you hear the gunshot?
No, just the alarm, sir.
Well, that makes sense. If he was on the forecastle, surely he would have heard the gunshot, maybe.
Where was he?
Or did we only hear the gunshot because it came up through the vents that were next to us? Leisure
Or
time?
through
You
the
said you were on the
windows.
forecastle.
Yeah?
It sounded like the Baroness let you have the rest of the night off.
Not entirely, sir. One of the crew informed me that the Baroness wanted to be roused at 10:15.
Right. Why was that?
I suppose that she wanted to toast the success of the journey with the captain and the other passengers.
She hadn't intended to take a nap then.
That was not her way, sir. She had a lot of spirit, shall we say, when it came to social engagements and a glass or two of champagne.
What an interesting character, because, yeah, she's got lots of spirit, but then you read her diary and it's just this very sober, did this, you know, like it's all a facade.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. And there was something else I was going to say there as well. Oh, yeah, she wanted to be roused at 10:15. Well, we got that diary that suggested really at that point maybe she wanted to go find the inspector to tell him about, you know, the murder on the ship.
Right.
But she'd been drugged at that point, perhaps.
I wonder if. Oh, that's right. So I wonder if then. Oh, so we gotta go see Legrand after this guy to see if he knew or not, if he got the letter.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think happened. She recognized the murder on the ship, and the murderer knew that he or she had been recognized. So that person never went in that cabin to find a key ever. That was never the goal. It was simply to kill the Baroness so that she wouldn't squeal on him. That was the whole point of that whole affair. Drugging her to get her in the room, to get her to fall asleep, and then kill her before they could get caught. Is that connected to the Raven stuff? Probably in some way, but you know, it could be a separate story entirely. Ransacked cabin.
The Baroness's cabin seems to have been ransacked.
Indeed, sir, by the Baroness herself.
Really?
She was searching for something the entire afternoon.
And did she find it?
I think she did, sir, yes. She was in high spirits when she finally left her cabin.
You wouldn't happen to know what she was looking for, would you?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, okay. Orderly woman?
Would you describe the Baroness as orderly?
Well, she always had a lot of responsibilities, sir.
That doesn't answer my question.
She used to take a lot of luggage on journeys, and I helped her keep track of it as best I could. She was always very angry when she couldn't find something.
What about the photos and the documents I saw in her cabin?
I really don't know. They were out of bounds to me, sir. Memories from the war, I'd say. They meant a lot to her.
The Baroness seemed to be pretty drunk the last time I saw her.
Is that so?
Does that surprise you? Did the Baroness not drink?
Oh, yes, she drank. It was no secret.
I understand. How serious was her habit?
Serious enough, sir.
Was she under any medical supervision?
Certainly not, sir. She adamantly refused to see a doctor. Like so many elderly women, she had a distinct aversion to hospitals and the like.
Well, I thought it was like elderly men that avoided hospitals because they're like, oh, I'll be fine. And one of the main reasons why women live longer than men in our society is because women actually go to the doctor.
You always see like the women always walking up straight and always have, you know, always hip, and then you see the guys always like hunched over, like
proper let himself go.
Yeah, like all the time I see that.
Work for the Baroness.
How
Last
long
thing.
had you worked for the Baroness?
6 months, sir.
Only 6 months. I always thought that butlers stayed with their employers for decades.
Those decades have to start at some point, Constable. Her former butler wasn't able to fulfill his duties any longer. Gout, sir.
I understand.
I took on his duties and hoped for a secure position for the next 20 years.
Oh, what do you think about being a butler for a living? Pretty cool game, I think.
Serving someone? I don't know
Stable.
if I could do that.
Lots of money in it, though. And it wouldn't necessarily be, depending on how rich that person is, it wouldn't be all their duties. It's like you say, you know, you have gardeners doing this and that.
I think, being a butler is like a life servant, I think. Everywhere they go, you're with them and stuff like that. I think the right frame of mind, people can do that. But, you know, because they take that seriously. Like, they go to school for that, for being a butler and everything. Those professional butlers. Yeah, dude, they got trained, man. That's some serious stuff.
Butlers being serious stuff. Well, I'm glad you've opened my eyes a little bit there, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you should know. You're in the UK, right? That's where
we do
they
all
were
have
born.
butlers. We do all have butlers. Stiff arm.
May I ask what happened to your arm?
A souvenir from the war, sir.
Doesn't it hinder your work?
Yes, sir. Obviously.
I didn't mean to offend you.
The Baroness had a soft spot for disabled veterans. I think she's been through a lot herself.
I think that's all.
There you go.
Please, sir, find the murderer. You have to clear me of all suspicion.
Alright, here's the thing, right? Do you remember we said earlier that maybe her children had been lost in the war or something?
Yeah.
I think we're meant to have jumped to that conclusion because we spoke to him, and that does work. I wonder whether he's a bit too squeaky clean, though. I wonder if he's only been with her 6 months. What if he'd been paid to, you know, look the other way or something? Do you know what I mean?
I think a few people have been paid, but I don't know.
I'm just
See
having,
what goes on.
I'm just having a little look in the saloon because since the butler appeared, maybe Mrs. Miller and Matt have appeared somewhere.
Matt's
also-
probably the Raven. You gotta be careful with him.
I also.
Oh, someone jabbing. That sounds like something from I Dream of Jeannie.
I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah, you never heard of I Dream of Jeannie?
No, this is.
It's an old show. Old, man.
I don't know how I got through that door so quickly. Okay, and what happens in it?
Basically a guy finds a genie in a bottle out in the beach.
I'm a genie in a bottle. Okay.
And she stays with him, and he obviously has a love interest and stuff like that, and it's quite something. It's a good show for way back.
That's pretty weird. How many seasons did it go on for?
I have no idea. It's like a black and white show, like back in the days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really old.
I thought back then they couldn't have been running out of ideas to go with such a bizarre concept, but I guess.
Hold on, was it black and white? It might have been color, like in the beginning of the color ages.
Constable.
Yeah, it might have been in the color, actually. I don't know. I don't remember. I have to look that up.
I might splice in some footage of it. Alright, wow, we got a lot to talk about, okay? We said we weren't going to bother you until it was important. I think this stuff is important. Tranquilizer first.
About the tranquilizer.
Who gave you the glass of champagne?
It was Captain de Conti.
You're sure?
He doesn't deny it, but he also says that the glasses passed through many hands that night and that everyone had access to the champagne.
So it could have been anyone.
Maybe the question isn't who put the poison in the glass, but rather who it was they wanted to poison.
Smart. And who were they trying to poison?
Dr. Gebhardt? The captain got the glass from him.
An unconscious ship's doctor. That sounds like it would be more use to a murderer than a drugged constable.
You think so? Did the murderer have reason to assume that his shot might not kill the victim immediately and that Dr. Gebhardt would be able to save her?
You're right. That's improbable. My ego is just searching for reasons for them to want to kill her and not me. Good job, Zellner.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like there's something in the room over there on that sink. Can you see that? That looks
Yeah.
weird. I want to inspect that later. Feathers. So that doesn't answer the question of why they would have targeted Dr. Gebhardt at all.
Yeah.
Maybe he can find
He
something.
was a little bit worried as well, and he didn't want to be left alone at all.
Yeah, exactly. All right, feathers.
I found feathers in the Baroness's cabin.
Really?
Yes, under her bed.
This
he
means
did
it was a
know.
murder.
This is leading up to some information that justifies this interruption.
Some of the feathers are singed.
Oh, I know what this
Show
means.
me.
I know what this means. Okay, if it was a poor man's thingy, then it definitely means he
You
wasn't
may
looking for a
have
key. It was premeditated.
Yeah.
I think that someone fired a shot through a pillow or something like that, and the muzzle flash scorched the down.
Yes, possible. Try to find the pillow and we'll take it from there.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and there's got to be a pillow with a hole in it somewhere.